For a long time, I didn't think of myself as unhappy. I thought of myself as responsible, capable, reasonable. I was doing what needed to be done, showing up, holding things together. And because of that, happiness felt like something that would arrive later on once everything else was handled. What I didn't see at the time was how often I was postponing my own happiness, waiting for some invisible signal that it was allowed. Not because anyone explicitly told me I couldn't be happy, but because I'd learned to check first. I learned early that other people's needs mattered. It's a good thing. That being agreeable was a virtue, and it quite often is. That wanting too much could make you seem selfish. Maybe so. That often came from holding back, on the other hand. Over time, happiness became something I measured instead of something I experienced. Was it appropriate? Did I earn it? Was it reasonable, given the circumstances or what we were going through at the time? I didn't deny myself happiness outright. I just kept postponing. And because it happened gradually, I didn't recognize it as a loss. I recognized it as maturity. What eventually caught my attention, though, was how conditional my joy had become. I noticed how often I checked it against external factors. Were things stable enough? Was everyone else okay? Was there anything unfinished that should come first? Happiness wasn't spontaneous. It was negotiated. It required the right conditions, the right timing, and often someone else's comfort. And even when those conditions were met, I'd hesitate, as if happiness needed a justification. I wasn't choosing unhappiness. I was just waiting for permission. And for a long time, that was okay. And for many of us, that's the way we get through those life beginning things, those first time married, first time children, first time approaching our midlife. But the shift for me didn't come with a declaration. There was no announcement, no dramatic turning point. That shift happened quietly. The moment I stopped explaining my choices to myself, sometime in my mid to later life. I didn't decide I'm choosing happiness now. I just stopped asking whether it was justified. I stopped treating happiness like something that had to be defended. And that changed everything for me. What surprised me most was this. Choosing happiness didn't make me reckless. It made me clearer. I became more honest about what drained me, what I didn't like, and about what restored me, what made me calmer, what made me better. I became more willing to notice when something no longer fit me, and I became less inclined to confuse self-denial with maturity. Happiness didn't make me irresponsible. No, it made me more present, more in the moment, calmer, more attentive, more grounded in my own life. It didn't pull me away from others. It just allowed me to show up without resentment. One of the most freeing realizations was this. Happiness doesn't need witnesses. It doesn't need to be explained, justified, or even approved. It doesn't need to make sense to anyone else, and I didn't need anyone's approval. Happiness just needs to be lived quietly, honestly, and without apology. That kind of happiness doesn't announce itself. No, Instead, it settles into life in ways that feel unmistakable. Choosing happiness for me wasn't about indulgence. It was about permission. Permission I eventually realized that I could grant myself. If you're still waiting for that signal, for the moment when it feels acceptable, for the conditions to be perfect, well, I want to offer you this. You might already have that permission. Think about it. So until next time, choose to live your happiness honestly and without apology. Bye for now.